top 10 significant figures of 20th century. Stay tuned till the end of the video. We have prepared something interesting for you. Number 10. John Lennon. Singer, but also songwriter, publicist, artist, a versatile talent from England, he is one of the most powerful drivers of change in pop culture in the 20th century because of his philosophy of love and peace. Leader in Beatles, killed in front of his New York home on December 8, 1980 by Mark David Chapman. His admirer, to whom he autographed a few hours earlier. Before we begin, you can subscribe to our channel by pressing the bell. You will then be notified when uploading a new video, and you will be able to watch it immediately at the time of upload. Number 9. Elvis Presley. Elvis is a US singer and actor known as the Rock and Roll King, one of the most significant figures in 20th century pop culture. He is the best-selling solo artist in the history of pop music, nominated 14 times for Grammy Award, winning 3 of them. On August 16, 1977, he was found by his then-girlfriend collapsed on the floor in the bathroom. The official version is that he received a heart attack as a result of drug abuse, sedatives and sleeping pills. Number 8. Salvador Dali. Hispanic artist, eccentric, one of the most influential figures in the field of contemporary fine art, true to surrealism. Quite often his eccentric behavior has attracted more attention than his works, which has led critics to interpret it as a publicity stunt. Some curious facts about him. He was expelled twice from the Academy of Fine Arts in Madrid. The first time because of his participation in a protest, and the second time, exam, which he addresses the examiners with the words, "I am far more intelligent than you 3 professors, so I refuse you to test me." Another interesting fact is that Salvador Dali created the Chupa Chups lollipop logo in 1969, which remains unchanged to this day. He dies on January 23, 1989, from heart failure. Number 7. Pablo Picasso. The Spanish artist and sculptor, he is one of the provocators of 20th century's art. His full name is Pablo Diego José Francisco de Paula Juan Nepomuceno María de los Remedios Cipriano de la Santísima Trinidad de Clio Patricio Luis and Picasso. He was one of the founders of the Cubist style, together with the Frenchman Georges Braque. Cubism is a flow in art that does not respect the proportions, wholeness and completeness of living models and objects. Picasso is perhaps the most productive artist of his time with over 50,000 works of art. His most expensive painting, Algerian Woman, was auctioned in 2015 for the record of $179.4 million. He died on April 8, 1973 in his house Notre Dame de Vie during a meeting with friends. Number 6. Ernest Hemingway. One of the most famous and significant writers in the US, he received the Pulitzer Prize in 1953 for his story The Old Man and the Sea, and the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1954. It is a little known fact that by the age of 4 Hemingway was dressed by his mother in woman clothes, because she wanted them both with his sister to look like twins. Another is that he hunts for almost everything. At only 3 years of age he kills a hedgehog and then eats it. In 1940 he kills 400 rabbits in just one day. Among with trophies are lions, tigers, leopards. Although he killed many big cats, Hemingway was a big fan of little ones. He grew up an interesting Maine Coon with 6 fingers on his paws. He had become so obsessed with his pets that he reached 57. He has experienced over 70 incidents with the illnesses, survives after 2 plane crashes and 1 car accident. His son Gregory, from an early age, liked to dress in women's clothing, and that was one of his most serious misfortunes, that his son was a cross-dresser. He was treated with electroshock therapy because the doctors thought that he was suffering from maniac dementia and memory loss after his last treatment. He was forced to pull the trigger and kill himself with his favorite hunting rifle on July 2nd, 1961. Number 5. Bill Gates. Gates is a programmer and philanthropist from United States, one of the richest and most influential people today. He was one of the founders of Microsoft when he was just 19 years old. With his passion for programming, he contributes for the development of modern computer technology. With more than $90 billion in assets, Bill Gates is the second richest man in the world after Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. Interesting statistic shows that Gates makes $250 a second, $15,000 a minute, and about $20 million every day, and about $7 billion a year. Although one of the richest people in the world, Bill Gates lives relatively modestly. He doesn't even have a dishwasher. He likes to wash his dishes himself. Each of his children will receive $10 million in inheritance and the rest will donate to charity. He says leaving huge amount of money to your children is not good for them. In an interview, Gates says, "If Microsoft hadn't been successful, I probably would have been involved in artificial intelligence, which is another passion of his. And can such a rich and successful man regret it?" What saddens Bill Gates the most in his life is that he has not yet learned any foreign language. Number 4. Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King Jr. is a well-known clergyman and public figure from United States, a fighter for equality. He is one of the leaders of African American civil rights movement. He became the youngest Nobel Peace Prize winner in 1964 when he was 35 years old. He is excellent for his purposeful work as a pastor for the elimination of racial discrimination and US imposed segregation through non-violent means. His birth name is Michael, but he was later renamed Martin. Interestingly, there is a national holiday in his name, as well as over 730 streets across the country. Martin Luther King was shot and killed on April 4, 1968 in Memphis, Tennessee, on the terrace of a motel he was staying at. 5 days later, the US president announced national mourning. This is the first national mourning declared black. Number 3. Mother Teresa. A Catholic nun of Albanian descent devotes her life to helping the poor and sick in India. Her real name is Anis Gorgeu Boiagiu. She was canonized as a saint in 2016. At the age of 17, she decided to leave her home. This is also the last time she sees her mother and sister. She became a missionary in the Loreto Sisters Order, but since she was still young, she was sent to Calcutta to teach. Traveling by train from India, she realized her vocation. She begins collecting poor and sick people from the streets to treat them. She founded a school and later a home for dying, homeless and lonely people. In 1979, she received the Nobel Peace Prize. She also receives various awards for her work, including Pope John XIII, awarded by Paul VI, Kennedy Award, Congressional Gold Medal, Presidential Medal of Freedom, and many others. She died on September 5, 1997 in Calcutta from a heart attack. Number 2. The Wright Brothers. Brothers Orville and Wilbur of the United States remain in history as the creators of the first motorized aircraft. Their tests in the air pushed the development of aviation forward. After several years of test flying with the Flyer airplane, they both received a patent for the invention in 1906. Everything starts from their workshop where they manufactured, repaired, and sell bicycles. After several unsuccessful attempts, on December 17, 1903, in the town of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, the brothers made the first ever fly-by-fly flyer in the history of mankind. The flight lasts 12 seconds and the distance traveled is 37 meters. The next day, they make a second attempt, this time holding the aircraft for 59 seconds and traveling 250 meters. A few years after that, they continued their experiment, constantly improving the design of the aircraft and making over 200 trials. In 1905, once again, they traveled 39 kilometers in 38 minutes and 3 seconds. On May 22, 1906, they were granted a patent for their invention. and in 1909 they created the Wright Company, which is engaged in the production of aircraft and pilot training. Number 1. Albert Einstein. The German physicist and philosopher is considered one of the most famous scientists of all time. He is often named the father of modern physics because of his outstanding contribution to science. Einstein was honored with the Nobel Prize in 1924 for the photovoltaic effect, which he found based on the Heinrich Hertz effect. So folks, we presented you the top 10 most important personalities of 20th century. If you like this rating, please hit the like button to support us, and also share on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Every single share helps us a lot. Thank you. You can also easily subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit the bell to avoid missing a cool top chart.